Alright, hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a nice day and or night. And today, folks, we're taking a look at SH Figuarts Yuji Itadori from the series Jujutsu Kaisen. And it's a pretty solid story, but I think its animation says a lot. The animation in Jujutsu Kaisen is always impressive. Each episode is an absolute blast from finish to start, and it deserves that kind of recognition. Is it my favorite shonen? Well, I don't know. I think Demon Slayer is still a bit better, but Jujutsu Kaisen is definitely still worth a watch. And getting to the box, and the box is pretty standard for SHF. They found a way to show off the figure, show off the company or series that it's coming from, and they have a clear plastic window to show off the actual figure inside. And the one thing that I love so much about SH Figuarts boxes is how small and compact these are, and they come with everything you'd think you need. So I love the sizes of these. I wish more companies would take collectors in mind when designing their boxes and designing how feasible it is to put this in a storage area, for instance a closet or something else. And this is perfect, right? Like, you could stack 100 of these on and that'd probably still be 30 Nendoroid boxes. So getting to the back, you get some poses, the name, all the warnings and the labels. So let's get it open and get a closer look. And this figure comes with quite a bit. There are a few things here that are speaking out to me. This hand, this face, some of these effect pieces. So let's just get a closer look at the figure itself. Alright guys, and first impressions, the sculpt on this is beautiful. There's a few things in the articulation that I'm not a huge fan of, but overall, it is a beautiful looking figure. This sculpt is great. It's dynamic. It's still fun, even though the costume design is pretty basic. So I think they've done an excellent job here. Getting to the back, you get to see all these wrinkles that carry over, his scarf, the nice shoes. It looks really nice. It's a really solid representation of Yuji Itadori. And getting a closer look at that head sculpt, and I'm not sure if the camera is really showing this off to the best of its ability. I think it's washing out the hair a little bit. I'll see what I can do about that. That being said, this faceplate is Yuji Itadori. I am blown away with how wonderful this faceplate is. This looks like it came straight from the anime. The nose is shaped in a way that looks exactly from the anime. It's a 2D object brought into the 3D world, and it is perfect. I'm just going to say this here and now. This is perfect. I don't think this could be any better. It catches the character, it catches the art style. It is fantastic. That is a lot of praise for something that I think SHF has had a hard time, especially with their real life characters. But for anime, it seems that all that SHF Dragon Ball has paid off, because this figure makes a statement here and now. Get a closer look at some of that sculpting. Sorry for the fuzz on it. Yeah, it keeps it interesting. It's maybe a bit too busy, but I think that it does keep it from looking boring and flat. But yeah, that head sculpt, man, that's perfect. That's the dream. And getting into articulation, I'll go through it real quick. So his head can look up that far and down that far and tilt side to side, and there's a ball joint at the bottom of the neck and the top of the neck. So that's how you get all that movement, and that's perfect. I love that. Get into the arms that go out far, rotate all the way around, butterfly joint right there, double bend at the elbow, and a hinge swivel at the wrists. As for the torso, it can crunch this far forward, crunch this far back, but with the bend at the waist, it can go that far forward and that far back. Sticking to the waist, his legs can move up this far, back that far, which is nothing, and out that far, which is passable. Double jointed bend at the knee, thigh swivel right there, and a hinge swivel at the boot. And last but certainly not least, you get a nice little toe bend there. So the articulation here is playable. It is fun. I don't really like how this waist section looks. I wish it was a little bit more how Mafex does their things, but for an anime figure, that gets into some crazy dynamic action poses, I don't mind. I think nothing really breaks the sculpt. Everything looks pretty normal and natural. The hands are a bit big, but I think in the anime they're big as well. So my only complaint is really in this section. I'm not a huge fan as to how that looks, but it's fun. You can get the poses that you want. Here's him crouched in a ready to fight position. So there we go. Let's move on to the rest of the faces. Swapping out the faces, and while that is a cursed image, these two pegs go into the bottom hole, and the hairpiece goes into the top. And the faceplate again looks wonderful here. I love that there's a little bit of added action here. His eyes are now looking off to the side. He's a bit more wary of what's around him. That fighting position that we had before looks a bit better now. Looks a little bit more intentional, and I just love how this looks. This is fantastic. I'm not going to stop saying it. It looks like Yuji. It looks like Yuji straight from the show. So they've done an amazing job here yet again. And what could have easily been the last beautiful head sculpt in here is actually the second to last, and it's a screaming face, super shonen action screaming. This is typical of anime protagonists. He's going past his limits. He's defying all the odds, and he is overcoming the challenges of life. Yeah, this is again really great. And let's get to the last head sculpt, and possibly the best head sculpt. Because yes, they included the wonderful, dastardly, deliciously evil Sukuna head faceplate. Damn it, keep saying it wrong. And while that could look nice with Itadori's regular hair, you actually get this second hairpiece, which puts his hair up and makes him look a bit more like Sukuna actually looks like. If that makes any sense, I'm not sure. And here we go with that. This is beautiful. The detail on here, the application of the tattoos, I don't think it could be any better. It's sharp, it's crisp, it's clean. I'm just blown away by this. And you don't realize how... This is my thumb. This is my thumbnail right here. Look how small this is. Just for reference, that's pretty incredible. I'm just... These head sculpts are beautiful, and we've come such a far way when it comes to it. Faceplates, sorry. These faceplates are just beautiful, so I'm just admiring them for half the video, probably. Let's get into his other accessories. So he does come with these fists, and these fists are large. I mean, take a look at them compared to his head. They are some big hands. But he does come with 2 other pairs of hands and an extra special hand, which we'll get to last. So let's take a look at those other pairs of hands now. So a little detail of this faceplate, you can see that his eyes are looking down, and he comes with these special demon hands, I guess you'd call them. You can tell they're demon hands because his fingernails are a bit longer on them, and you can still use them. And these super dynamic splayed out hands really add to the drama of this character. I mean, just look at him. He is ruling the world, and you can't do anything about it. So these look great. I love these. I love hands like these. They're just super outrageous with how dynamic they are. And for an anime, that's perfect. So they look great with this. Let's get on to that third pair of hands. Alright, and his third pair of hands are also splayed out hands, but they're a little less clenched, as you can see. These are the old ones, these are the new ones. So they're a bit more open, a bit more relaxed. I get the vibe that he's flying through the air, like he's about to use some of his power, but this is the kind of pose I had him in. Something like that. They look really nice again. Could have easily just given us these, but they gave us a separate look to them, so I appreciate that. And the last special hand that we get is basically this hand again, except it has this disturbing smile with the tongue out on it. This is awesome. I love this. I wish he had gotten 2 of them, but hey, what are you gonna do? This is awesome. Let's get it on there. Hands pop out really easily, by the way. Get something like that, kind of like the cover of the first volume. Yeah, I love how this looks. It's weird, it's different, it's beautiful. Love it. Itadori looks pretty great here. So let's get on to his accessories, his effect parts, and he comes with 2 effect parts, which I'll show right now. So Itadori here comes with 2 effect parts, and these are for when he's using his... I just forgot the name. I feel dumb. What is it when he uses the power? Cursed energy? Is that right? When he's using his cursed energy and he powers it to his fists, this is basically what they look like. In the show, they look a bit more interesting, but to translate that into plastic form, I think would be really difficult. So this is what we got. We got these two bulbous blue sphere things that look like melting chocolate, and they go over his fists, and we'll see how that looks right now. Alright, so here we go. This is his cursed energy, cursed power that he's using. And I'll be honest with you, this doesn't look that good. Effect pieces aren't blue enough to really get that effect across, but I will have to say that that's probably the weakest aspect of this figure, is this right here. So as far as everything else is concerned, it's wonderful. This is how they look. I mean, they're not bad, don't get me wrong. They're just not super interesting, and I think if it was on a shelf, you would have a hard time telling that he's even using them. And I think that's because of the how translucent the plastic is. It kind of just blends in with the rest of his uniform. So yeah, if these were maybe a brighter blue, or if they glowed at all due to like UV, like glow in the dark, I think it would look a little bit better. But this is the weakest aspect of the figure, so let's get to that conclusion right now. So at the end of the day, this figure is wonderful. Obviously, this is my opinion and you don't have to agree. Now, SH Figure Arts don't come with any stand or support arm or anything to hold the figure up, so you're going to have to buy that separately if you want him in the air. But that and the maybe lackluster effect pieces are the only negatives that I can really think of. This figure does pretty much everything else right, and I think the most important part of this figure is that it captures the character so well. And I know Figma's coming out with an Itadori, but I don't think it's going to be as good as this. Sure, maybe the effect pieces will look a bit more accurate to the show, but I think that as it stands now, SH Figure Arts killed it with this release. Does this figure look as cool as I'm saying it is, or are you like, this is kind of boring, that's just a boring uniform, whatever. Please, any and all concerns in the comments below. And that's the review, so if you like this review, be sure to give it a like, comment, or subscribe. Stay tuned for more content, and with that, everyone, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.